On my way back to Northfield, as you can see, I have my suit on. I'm glad I did too. I guess it's not going to matter now. As I left the Meadows, I knew I was going to be tight for time, and then there was an accident back there on the highway. So I'm definitely going to be late for my first drive. It's not our horse. Our horses are in later on. But they did card me on race 2 and 3, I believe, and I'm definitely not going to be there for race 2. I believe I can be there for race 3. But that is that. Meadows today had a good day. Man, I was really pleased with Grand Slam Dio again. You know, it's one of those things where I knew it was the right move, but I still remember the old Grand Slam Dio, right? Felt a little weak. Maybe that ceiling felt a little more shallow than I thought it should. No, it did feel more shallow than, we had expectations for this filly that she would come on and be a good horse, but just hadn't seen it yet. Sent her to Ontario. Hadn't seen it yet. Came back to the Meadows, and really it was just, we were trying to stop the bleeding. We were trying to get her to a position where she found some classes she could do well, and then look forward to the fall where she's worth quite a bit of money as a broodmare. This is a propulsion filly, sister to Up Your Dale. Big, beautiful mare. She's worth quite a bit of money. You still got to get there. You got to get to the fall. And Tim and his team have done an incredible job with this filly. I think she is a third, 2 seconds, and 3 wins in her last 6 at the Meadows. In fact, she's racing so well, I was kind of torn on whether I wanted to even take her out of the Meadows. And today was one of those races where, if she races good, we'll give her a try in Oak Grove. There's a lot of money on the table. If she does well again today, her last 6, she's done very, 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 very well. I think she probably deserves an opportunity to race down there. And quite frankly, we deserve an opportunity for her to race down there. Well, she certainly raced good. We're going around the first turn, and Wilbur left out of there with the first start Lazex horse. I heard them say it going on the track. But if I'm not mistaken, I drove that filly in Northfield. Nice filly, but not as good as Grand Slam Dio right now. And actually, I know that Chris likes his filly, and she is an actual nice filly. Mona Lisa, something. Yell or smile, I don't know. But she's a nice trotter. So as we're going around the first turn, I left the 2-hole open. Chris is no dummy. I'm thinking, you want in? If you want in, it's right there. He wasn't stupid. He just sat there, and as we caught up to Wilbur, just coasted to the front. Well, as he's coming out of the 2-hole, I got a question to answer too. What am I? You just gonna sit there and let a lukewarm second favorite, a horse that could easily have been the favorite, a lukewarm second favorite, clear to the front easily, and put a long shot between you and her? No, I don't think so. No, I'm not okay with that. The right move was 100% to move the filly, but this is a filly coming out of a maiden where she overpowered trotters, not where she flat out beat them. Not where you had to drive her like a racehorse. You just had to steer her virtually as good as she was. And I moved her to the outside, and she kind of hung coming out of the first turn. Now, we went 28 seconds, but Chris Lambs doesn't want anybody coming, so he's still scooting right along. But I have to force his hand. I don't think I can come first over at any point in the mile and grind down Chris Lambs' filly and win. I just don't see that happening. But if I come hard enough, he has to cut me loose. We're not going to go half and 55-4. Like, that would be insanity. So I forced his hand. I came with her, and she kind of hung out for a second. And Chris, we're rolling right along. He had to grab up, and as soon as he grabbed up, she took right off to the front. 56-4. It's a pretty good speed. But she felt great. When she crossed down to the front, she's funny. She knows where the gate is. If you watch her coming around the turn at the half, she drifts a little bit. She knows it's right there. And I growled at her, and hey, get in, and we start down the backstretch, and I put the bit in her mouth, and she took right off. I don't want to empty her out down the backstretch, but again, I'm still in 6 weeks ago mode, and I'm like, it'd be a good day to take another good lifetime mark, wouldn't it? But I don't want to empty her out and get beat, so I just let her saunter down the backstretch 29 seconds. We go 125 and 4. I cut her loose coming out of the turn, and she knew she was a winner. She just coasted through the wire. But a good mile, 55 and 2. Now, if we go down and, if we're lucky enough to win a stake race down there, now you have an extremely well-bred 3-year-old filly, just a beautiful filly, with a good lifetime mark and a stakes win under her belt. Stake winning, 3-year-old, half if not 3/4. I can't remember what Up Your Deal was by. It doesn't matter. Half or 3/4 sister to Up Your Deal. That's a much better scenario. And I'll tell you what, she looked really, really good and felt really, really good. And she looked and felt good enough where I think she does deserve a shot down there. Now the problem, it's not lost to me and it shouldn't be lost on you. The problem with Oak Grove is there's no A, B, and C division for the Kentucky Sire Stakes Lags in Oak Grove. There is an A division. That's what they got. A. So you have to really be a good filly. Now, never count a filly that's taken a new lifetime mark in her last, let alone twice in her last 3, and coming in on 3 wins, 2 seconds, and a third. I think she does deserve a chance to go there. And shortly thereafter is Lexington, where no matter, I guess what she does in Oak Grove will dictate kind of what she does in Lexington. But I think she's deserved the opportunity to do that. I left my glasses my sunglasses are in my driving bag. I found these in the glove box. Terminator. Anyway, a great win from Grand Slam DO. Take nothing away from her race. She was awesome. I got to talk to Tim about next week, what the plan is. They do, I was surprised, I guess it shouldn't be. They carded and rode and raced 2-year-old races today. Do we have, now the timing of all our stakes is very, very important. I don't just want to race the horses and then 13 days before their next stake race, or before their first stake race. And obviously the horses on my mind for the 17th would be the horses that are racing 18 days later. So that makes very little sense. Do we race Perfect Thought next week? Use it as a prep, send her down to the East Coast, let her get acclimated down there. See how she feels down there? It's possible. We have options for next week. Just the more I talked to Tim about it, the more I realized the next generation horses shouldn't be in those options. The timing just doesn't fit right. So it's not the 17th, today's the 18th, they're carded for the 19th, which would be 11 and 5 is 16 days, which obviously is 2 weeks and 2 days. So I don't think that makes a whole lot of sense. We'll see what we come up with, but you may see some of our 2-year-olds make their first lifetime starts next week. You can think of one that has to potentially go to the same jurisdiction as Perfect Thought. Maybe. So I'll have to pour over the calendar again. This is the trickiest time of year also because the plan that I might have had for some horses, maybe that's changing. Maybe they qualified so well, another qualifier maybe isn't needed. It's almost kind of falling under a wasted start, really. So you have to evaluate the 2-year-olds and reevaluate your calendar to see what you want to do and how you want to do it and where you want to do it, quite frankly. So that's what will go on over the next few days. We still have a number of horses on tap to qualify next Tuesday that have to qualify. Degas is coming off a bit of a sickness, and she is still getting over it. I had every intention of training her today. We come in, they said she left a little bit of feed this morning, just maybe a handful. I said, I don't like the sounds of that. No temperature. I said, you know what? I'll train her in 2.8 tomorrow instead of 2.3 today. No problem. Just jog her today and get her ready. They jogged her today. She was coughing when they jogged her. So she's being treated. But there's less of a likelihood that I can now train her on Thursday. Does that mean she's feeling better and she can train a slow 1.5 miles maybe on Friday? in preparation of a qualifier on Tuesday. This qualifier on Tuesday is important. If we're going to Oak Grove and take off, 6 days. It's funny because no other horse that I'm aware of in her area has been stricken with any illness. There's no coughing, there's no snot, there's no temperatures. It's just take off. And she's not an unhealthy filly. That's kind of weird. Anyway, that's something we're watching also. So as you can see, there's a lot going on in my head right now with respect to the barn, our 2-year-olds, and how we're going to race them. And also on the periphery over here, as I almost said, yearlings, is our yearlings. I told you guys I'm going to try and get some videos and some photos. Maybe we're going to have a spotlight of some of those horses so that everybody can have a look at them and get in, because quite frankly, there's only so many shares there. Now, there'll be shares that'll be sold privately off and on, but I think the tone will be set by, the price should likely be set by us, by the stable, at least until the horses come in, right? Anyway, that's what's going on right now on a 11, almost 12-minute video now about one horse. It's getting up there, even for me. We get Freedom Hill and we get Old Hill No tonight. As I said, for those of you following along, that there's got to be one or two of you out there that watch me. I'm not going to be in race 2. I'm going to be in race 3 and thereafter. But good luck to all my partners tonight. Good start to the day. Things are going well. Oliver plays at 6 o'clock tonight in Ontario, so I'll be watching that also. Take care, everybody.